broadcasting to you from our North Catholic studios in Cranberry Township with episode number 8 of our podcast on North Catholic Athletics. My name is Alex Brown.
And I'm Ryan Berry.
And together, we are your hosts for this podcast.
And for this episode, we're going to be doing a recap and preview of the playoffs for all these North Catholic sports teams that are going to be participating in the upcoming playoffs. We hope you enjoyed last week's podcast with the interview with former NHL player Eric Tangradi. That was a great interview. We hope you listened to that. If not, go check that out.
And for next week's podcast, we have locked in Mr. Neil Walker to be our guest.
The Pittsburgh Kid.
And we're honored to have him, and it's going to be a great interview, and we encourage you to listen to that next week. But let's start off with the boys lacrosse team. Since we last convened last week, they have played several games.
4 games.
4 games. So let's start with the one on May the 8th. Ryan.
May the 8th was the first game that we're going to be talking about. It was an 8-6 win over Shaler Area High School. It was a close, hard-fought victory that the North pulled out late in that game.
They won that one 8-6 on the final score of that contest.
The next game that we're talking about was a 17-4 win over Freeport Area High School. It was a dominating win, as a lot of games this year have been, Alex.
Absolutely, as the boys lacrosse team manhandled Freeport by the score of 17-4 in that game.
The next game, the opponent scored 4 as well. North Catholic kept up the high offensive scoring with the 14-4 win over Knock on May the 11th. They continued being so dominant offensively, Alex.
Absolutely, and this whole season has been kind of that they're playing good defense because they're not giving up a lot of goals, Ryan. And they're really not giving up goals in any game. Even the games they lost, they haven't given up a lot of goals. But then they go on to absolutely crush the teams that they're supposed to beat.
Yep, and the next game was Outer Dice, a 24-4 win, and this trend continues, Alex, with not letting the opponent score very much at all, and look at dominating fashion in the offense. Mr. Campbell has this team dominating the competition.
And they're really churning the butter on offense, Ryan. 24-4 was the final score. 24-4. So they I don't even know. They times the opponent's score by 6.
Yep, they put the pedal to the metal and never looked back.
They put the foot. Okay, I think I got put the pedal to the metal. Okay, I got it. Yes.
You've never heard that one before?
No,
churning butter on the offensive zone.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure on that one that you got the reference right. You got the reference right.
Yeah.
Good job.
Double check me, Alex. But that's what we have for the recent games for the
churning butter. Everyone knows churning butter, though.
But they have the playoffs coming up, and they were actually able to get a bye through the first round. They were one of the 4 teams with a bye in the 2A WPIAL lacrosse playoffs. They had an overall record of 8-2, a very, very good season for them.
Absolutely, and then they're going to carry that into the playoffs because, as everyone knows, Ryan, playoffs are the thing that matters the most. Once you get in the playoffs, you throw out the regular season. You throw it away. It doesn't matter at all. The playoffs matter. Let's see what they do in the playoffs.
So they're going to play the winner of Sewickley Academy and Moon, and that game is actually tonight, Monday, May 17th. In that game, the winner of that game will play North Catholic the second round at Chartiers Valley Wednesday, the 19th. Which is actually this week at 5:30 p.m.
And that's going to be a good game. Whoever they play, Moon and Sewickley both have had decent seasons. But I think North should be able to handle either of those teams, no matter who it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of good teams in this playoffs, but I think the favorite right now is probably Mars High School, Alex.
I think so, too, because they beat North. But this season, the cross team has been 8-2. And as you said, they've obviously played well enough in that 8-2 games to dictate getting a bye. And as you said, great season so far. But they have to close it out now. Once you get in the playoffs, it's time to start. It's time to just keep on putting, as you said, that pedal to the metal and crushing these teams like they have been because they've been doing such a fantastic job this season. Offense cannot stop in the playoffs.
The boys and girls track and field team are going to WPIAL to participate very soon. There's a lot of participants at North Catholic going to this competition to be able to compete at the highest of their abilities. The first one, we'll go over the boys first, Alex. You want to lead off
I'll
with that?
I'll start off with the boys. Rigel Weekland, Luke Baker, Luke Rinker, and Doug Joseph are going to be competing on the 4x800 team.
The alternates for that are Nick Paulson and Jacob Learish. And for the 100, the 200, the 400, and the 4x100, Trevor Pascal is doing it all in the WPIAL competition.
And he's doing it all very well. And then you got Jack Fennell. He's doing the 100 and the 4x1. Luke Major, 200, 400, and 4x1.
Kyle Topinski is doing the 100 meter. Joe Hermanis is doing the 3200. That's 2 miles, right, Alex?
3200 is 2 miles, correct.
Sam West is doing the 1600, and Nick Scherzer is doing the javelin and the discus.
And if I can point this out real quick, I would assume that Kyle Topinski is doing the other leg of the 4x100. I would assume that because it's not on this. It's not on the sheet.
Yeah, there's only 3 4x100s.
I would assume Kyle Topinski is the other member of the 4x100 team. So just to get that out there, because our 4x100 team, Ryan, has been phenomenal this season. Phenomenal. And then let's look at the girls' team.
Grace Lazera is doing the 1600 and the 800 meter races.
Elena Hicks, 3200. Julia Zelensky is also in the 3200.
Tara Lucan is doing the 400 and the 800 meter races, as well as the long jump. Ava Smith is doing the long jump as well,
Yep.
Alex.
And Gia Sircone, Ava Smith, Niella Baylog, and Rachel Eric are going to be doing the 4x100 race with the alternate of Olivia.
So we wish
Scherzer.
them the best of luck at WPIAL. Hopefully
Absolutely.
they compete to the best of their abilities and represent North Catholic well.
And hopefully we get some of them on the states because everyone that's at this meet has had a phenomenal season. Even the people that didn't make it, it's been a great track season, and we wish them all the best of luck.
And now let's move on to the boys baseball team. They're getting ready and lined up for their playoffs after a successful season this year. And they're getting that started off against Elizabeth Forward, Alex.
You have Elizabeth.
Wednesday, 19th.
Yep, and North Catholic has had a great section season in particular, as they've been 8-2 in the section, 13-7 overall, and they're in a better part of the bracket than on the other side, I believe. They would have to get by Montour to get out of the bracket at some point. Probably Montour has a bye already because they are the top seeded team in their side of the bracket.
And Elizabeth Forward, overall record is 7-8, 5-7. So it's not a walk in the park, Alex. They
They
have
should be able
shown
to
the
beat
ability.
them. They should be able to beat them.
They've shown the ability to win games, but North Catholic is the favorite in this one.
Yes, that's true. Definitely true. But now, getting out of that game, though, they would have to play the winner of Laurel Highlands Beaver, another group with solid teams. So it's going to be a tough road to get out of their side of the bracket, Ryan. But they're ready for it.
You have a tough test. You got to play good every single inning of every single game because if you make one slip up, it could cost you. But there's a lot of good teams in this. And Alex, which team do you think is the favorite in Class 4A?
Obviously, the favorite is Montour. They won a tough section in 4A by 1 game over Blackhawk, earning them the section title and the number 1 seed. Montour has 3 batters hitting better than 400 this season. They've had some great performances by the sophomore Nick Walker. He's batting .511. You got Gannon Kalilak with a .435 batting average, and junior Matt Luchevich with a .429 batting average. And then they have a pitcher that struck out 54 batters in 33 innings.
And they only won their only WPIAL title since
in 49 years.
1972.
In 49 years, they've won. This is their second one they won in 49 years.
So North Catholic's hoping to make some noise in these playoffs. We wish them the best of luck in their game starting Wednesday, May 19th, against Elizabeth Forward at Fox Chapel.
And now let's move on to the boys varsity volleyball team, who's had a great week, Brian.
Yes, they've had Alex. They've been playing really well. The first game was a 3-0 win over Montours, a section win on senior night to move to 8-1 in the section and 13-2 in the season. It was led by Richard Kaminsky with 11 kills, 18 assists, and 2 aces, Alex. He's been their leader all season long.
Absolutely, and he continues to impress, as we'll talk about in a minute. Andrew Eubinger has 10 kills, 11 assists, and 1 ace. Ben Sobel had 6 kills. Dominic DeLeo, 4 kills, and Ian Doherty, 3 kills for the Trojans on the night, in a very impressive win over a solid Montour team.
And then they move on to an even bigger win against Ambridge, a team that they've had struggled with in the past. It was a big win. It was a big comeback victory, a 3-2 win in their last game of the season, become section champions, Alex.
Absolutely, and when I say it was a great matchup, that's underselling it. It was a great game, a phenomenal game, and 5 sets, as you said, it went 25-13, 20-25, 26-28, and really a thriller on that one.
They went down 2-1 there, Alex.
25-13, to 21 and 15 to 11 in the final. So
And guess what? Richard Kaminsky led that team again with 22 assists and 10 kills. And then Andrew Uminger saying his name a lot too. It another dominant game with 21 kills and 8 assists.
And then Ben Sobel had a great night serving and added 9 kills to go with it. And junior Aiden Ward, as well as Brandon Chance, had a phenomenal game defensively. And now they're on to the playoffs as they are seated at the second spot in the WPIAL 2A boys volleyball.
Yep, they earned that spot after a
playoffs.
good season. They got the 2 seed, which gives them a little easier first round matchup against Keystone Oaks, who was the 15th seed Tuesday, that May 18th, 7 p.m. at North Catholic. So I believe they'll be selling tickets to that game, Alex. So if you guys can't get out to that game, support North Catholic.
Pack the house as all the support you can get is much appreciated by the team. And after that, they'll be playing the winner. If they win that game against Keystone Oaks, which they should, they'll be playing against Mars, the winner of Mars Montour, which is, as you saw with Montour, they beat them this season. They beat them twice, actually. They beat them 3-0 another time as well earlier in the season. They've had a great season, really great season. They've been led by the leaders on the senior front, Richard Kaminsky, Dominic Rivetti, Ian Doherty, Brandon Chance, some of those, just to name a few. And then they got Andrew Ubinger, the junior, has been playing phenomenal this season. They have such a talented roster, Ryan.
Yes, they do, Alex, and hopefully they can continue that success this postseason. As actually the rankings came out, and they're the number 2 ranked team in Class AA, Alex.
And they're number 2. They're right up there in the state, too. I think they're number 2 in the state as well, as they've been right up there with the Ambridge, Seton LaSalle this whole season. Seton LaSalle did get the better of them once, as well as Ambridge got the better of them
Yeah,
once.
that was just one game, Alex.
Just 2 games.
Just one game against each
Yes.
team,
And
hopefully they've learned their lesson.
yes.
And they beat them.
And they beat them both, too. They beat them both, too. So they've answered those blows as they've kept on coming.
Yep, they're
and
gonna
they
have
will
some
continue
tough
to.
games. They might have to face Ambridge again. They might have to
Yep.
face Seton LaSalle again. They could end up facing Montour and Mars, and those aren't cakewalks either.
Absolutely not. But they're built for success, and let's hope to see some success this playoffs.
Moving on to another 2 seed, the girls softball team of North Catholic has had 2 games in the past week, and now they're the 2 seed in the WPIAL playoffs, Alex.
Yes, and on May the 10th, they beat Derry by the score of 4-3. Leanna Moriali, who's had a phenomenal season, as she is their ace, led things off in the pitcher circle for the Trojanettes. Lasted 7 innings and allowing only 5 hits, 3 runs, while striking
Pitched the whole
out
game, then.
18. Striking out 18 and walking 0.
She pitched the whole game, then a complete game.
Yes, I would assume so. I think it only goes to 7 innings. And I don't believe it went to extras. So
And Derry, actually, Maddie Berger was the pitcher for them. She actually had 7 innings as well.
it was a pitcher's duel down to the end, but the Trojanettes prevailed as they racked up 12 hits in the games. Sophia Weissner, Abby Sutton, Leanna Moriali, Leanna Kohler, and Gianna Timko all managed to have multiple hits for the Trojanettes.
And then they had a little prep game for the playoffs with a 13-0 win over Valley High School. Leanna Moriali did pitch another game, the 5-inning complete game. I don't know why it says complete game, but it was a one-hitter striking out 11. I guess it was a complete game. Maybe they only played 5 innings, Alex, because is there a mercy rule or something?
If it only goes 5 innings, it's like it has to be. If they're up by quite a bit, then it's over. Yes, so there is a possibility for a mercy
And she
rule.
also did a little Shohei Ohtani, had a home run and drove in 3 runs herself, Alex.
She's had a phenomenal season, absolutely phenomenal. All these games that she's played, she's been very good. At 13-0 at that stage in the game, I believe there would be a mercy rule if that's the case, because I mean that's how it's been a lot this season with the Trojanettes against a lot of these teams. They've just been dominating, and Leanna Moriali has been absolutely no exception to dominating her opponents.
And North Catholic has a bye in the first round, and will play Thursday, May 20th against the winner of Southmoreland and Keystone Oaks.
Yeah, and the only reason they're the second seed, Ryan, is because they lost one section game. They're 9-1. They have an 11-4 overall record. But they've been playing. They've had a phenomenal season, really a phenomenal season. And they, as you said, they get a bye, and then they're playing the winner of Southmoreland, Keystone Oaks on Thursday, and that's gonna be a good one. Both two teams that they have, I believe they've beaten both. They can beat those teams, Ryan. That's a 7-10 seed matchup. They should be able to beat them, and they beat them handily, as they've been able to deal with inferior competition very well this season. Very well this season. And I'm sure they will continue to do so this playoffs, as they're going to have to face some inferior teams on their way to the championship. And now let's move on to another successful team this season in their first year with the Trojans. It is the Trojans boys varsity tennis team.
Alex, they've had an unbelievable...
How about that introduction, Ryan?
Yeah, it was a little
drawn out, but I got there.
Yeah, man, congratulations to them. This is the first time they've had a team. They've been unbelievable, Alex. Just completely unbelievable. And they're just on the WPIAL PIAA state playoffs. Their first match is Tuesday, May 18th, and they travel to Westwood Racket Club in Erie to take on Fairview, the top team out of Section 10. The match is scheduled at 12 p.m. I mean, it's going to be a tough game. Fairview is 10-1, but North Catholic has persevered and gotten a lot of tough wins this whole entire season.
Absolutely, and they've shocked a lot of people with their talent that they've had.
It's just unbelievable what they've been able to do this season,
impressive.
Alex.
And they only have to, if they win this, Ryan, if they win this by 3-2, 3-1, 3-0, they move on to states. They move on to Hershey. They go play in Hershey later this week, I believe. But it's been a phenomenal season by the Trojans, and
if they were to win, they would play in Hershey against the winner of Allentown and Dallas.
I don't even know where Dallas is. It's not in Dallas. It's not in Dallas, definitely. But they'll be playing the winner of that if they get there, and even if they don't win this game, right, it's been a very successful season.
Yes, it has, Alex, and wish them the best of luck. Hopefully they continue their good playing, and hopefully they get a win in states.
That closes us out. As you can see, the Trojans and Trojanettes have had a very successful spring as we head into the home stretch of the school year and the home stretch of the sports seasons. Very successful spring for the Trojans and Trojanettes, right, Ryan?
Yes, it has, Alex, and it's another great season. We get to talk about a lot of good teams, Alex, every week.
That's the best part.
We're lucky that we
yes.
get to talk about a lot of good seasons,
yes.
And we thank you all for listening. And make sure to catch us next week for the Neil Walker interview. Remember, we are your one-stop podcast for everything North Catholic athletics.